Welcome, everyone. The world is topsy-turvy. I don't know what's going on, but it seems like all the news is about the same thing. It's about keeping drivers healthy and this virus. I don't even know what to think anymore. I'm reading this headline. It just takes me in so many different directions. Headline reads, Uber Lyft drivers union asked for emergency economic relief. Comes from Fox 13. I'm not sure what city that would be in. But my first thought is drivers union. Okay, by very nature of being independent contractors and self-employed, hey Beacon, how can drivers have a union? I'm just not understanding this. A union has to represent organized drivers through a set procedure. And so I'm looking at this, and the story is really interesting. It says that rideshare drivers are sounding the alarm, that drivers are really suffering now in this moment or this time of confusion and many times fear. Hey, Raphael. And so I'm puzzled by all this. James, that's exactly what I'm getting at. What union? Hey, Daryl, let me get to my page here first, just to make sure that I'm on the right page. All right, and that's exactly what I was thinking. What union? How can there be a union? And then this might be out of Seattle, because it does talk about First Avenue in Seattle is practically empty during during the Thursday evening commute. I'm going to talk about that. Sorry, I am tongue-tied right now. Hey, Spencer. One driver says he only made $18.17 a whole day. Rideshare companies said they've been handing out cleaning supplies to drivers. We're going to come back to a minute about what rideshare drivers are doing to and for drivers and rideshare companies, rather, what they're doing to and for riders and drivers. I'm sorry, I know that I'm getting tongue-tied here, but I have so much to get out here. Completely puzzled. So it says the drivers union went further by urging public officials to halt evictions and ask both Uber and Lyft to pay drivers an emergency income in addition to helping with mortgage and rent. All right. So what is the drivers union? I looked a little deeper here, and it's talking about Teamsters 117. So I went to Teamsters 117 website, and it says an open letter to CEO Dastardly Dara. Oh, we got to do this now, right? And Lyft CEO Logan Green. Governor Jay Inslee. Okay, I don't have anyone for that. That's the governor's theme song. County Executive Dow Constantine, Mayor Jenny Durkin, all local, state, and federal elected officials. They're not leaving anybody out. I wonder if they called the guy that sweeps the floors at the end of the day. So here's the open letter. Uber, Lyft, and taxi drivers, low-wage workers who earn a living taking people to airports, events, and their jobs are on the front lines of both public health and economic impacts of this crisis. Yet economic stimulus plans are leaving us behind. We call on elected officials at the city, county, state, and federal levels, as well as corporate leaders, to take the following actions immediately, of which they list 3. Number 1, provide up to $1,000 per week emergency income stabilization, plus suspension of driver paid fees to drivers until this crisis subsides. $1,000 per week. How many drivers even make $1,000 per week when they're out hustling? I know there are some, but in a normal 40-hour week, $1,000 a week. Wow. All right, hey, I'm not going to argue. If they can get it, why not? Provide rent and mortgage assistance, a moratorium on evictions, no utility shutoffs, and emergency food assistance for those in need. And finally, Uber and Lyft eliminate all commission on trips, suspend surge pricing during the state of emergency, and directly fund vital safety net programs. Okay, here's a couple of things I'm thinking. First of all, I am going to admit I am completely ignorant, oblivious, and unaware that drivers can join a union. Now, I want to know, how many of you are dues paying members of a union just working for rideshare? I'm not talking about if you have other gigs. Maybe you are a legitimate truck driver or something, so yeah, you are joined a union and you're paying union dues. But how many people out there are dues paying union members solely based on their rideshare? I'm going to guess nobody. So, what is this whole thing about a union? Now, please, if I'm wrong, I will completely 100% accept clarification down below. But it seems to me that what the union's doing is they're trying to build up trust. So when this whole thing breaks open and somehow drivers do become eligible to formally join unions, they're going to say, well, look at this, look what they did for us. But I think for another thing, the demands are so extreme and so outrageous. There is no way on God's green earth that Uber and Lyft are going to concede to this. There's no way. They're going to provide $1,000 a week emergency income. That's not happening. Provide rent and mortgage assistance. Okay, so some of this is going to the government now. Moratoriums on evictions, no utility shutoffs, emergency food assistance. Well, in a way, the government already does that, right? So I could see that being a little reasonable. Uber and Lyft eliminating all commissions. That's not going to happen. So these demands are so extreme and so outrageous, they know they're not going to concede to those. But what they're doing is they're kind of playing the PR game that I always accuse Uber and Lyft of playing. I think what the union's doing is they're saying, well, we went to bat for you. I'm sorry it didn't happen, but we were there for you. So when the time comes that drivers, and maybe, I don't know if the time's going to come or not, but they can become unionized, they're going to, look at the Teamsters and say, hey, they tried to do a good thing for us. That's my take. Now, I know a lot of you are watching right now. We've got 25 people in the room. What are your thoughts? Do you think I'm onto something, or am I missing something? Do they really have some kind of formal authority to represent drivers? I'm looking off to the side now, forgive me, but I'm checking your responses here. So I'd be happy to help most FSU students have gone home. Well, that's another thing. I think, this is just me, correct me if you want, I think people are really overreacting. And this is going to hurt the economy in the long run. Fortunately, when some effects went into place, I'm not going to get into the politics of the whole thing, but President Trump signed some things, and as a result, the stock market did go up again. But speaking of the stock market, good Lord, did you see what happened to Uber and Lyft in the stock market? They hit an all-time low. And I'm sorry, I'm going to throw some numbers out. They are not 100% accurate, but they're close. Uber was like in the $21, $22 category. As a matter of fact, to make sure that I'm not speaking nonsense, I am going to check it right now and see what $22.60 at closing. And I don't know what the low was, but the low was $21.39. So I was okay. I was right in there. It dropped to $21.45, and then it had a rally towards the end and went up to $22.59. That's scary. That is scary. Maybe now is the time to buy Uber again, because if it pops up to the $40 range where it was a couple weeks ago, cash out. I am not a stock market guy, but it seems to me, if you want to do that quick turnaround, if you got the nerve to do that, this might be the company to do it with. So it sure seems to me that this is an extremely weird situation. Not only in that, I don't know that this union is formally representing drivers. I think they're just kind of doing something, they're they're sending out this press release and making these demands when they don't truly represent the drivers. That's what I think. So what do we have here? They want a bailout from the government for helping out. Please don't try to pay some toilet. I don't know. The way that people are making a run on toilet paper these days, maybe that'd be a good thing. I don't know why people are making a run on toilet paper, because this virus, it doesn't affect that end, right? Or do people think that they're going to be quarantined and stuck in their house for, several weeks, and they're just going to need the TP? I don't know. All right, what else do we have? Major overreaction. Private equity groups control Uber. That's why drivers get screwed. The market is not at the bottom yet. We'll see, James. We all need to suck it up and stay home for several weeks before it becomes mandatory. That is an interesting idea. That is a real interesting idea. What if Uber drivers took this opportunity to not only keep themselves healthy and safe in that regard, but kind of put it to Uber and Lyft by saying, all right, this is a week or two, I'm going to sit it out. All this time we have tried and tried and tried to have a strike, if you want to call it that, a sit out, a sick out. Here's our opportunity. I wasn't thinking of saying that in this video. You just kind of triggered that thought in me. Why not? Why not? As far as travel, I travel extensively. Let me tell you what I've been experiencing in travel this week. I had a really, really busy week. First part of the week, I flew out. I had to go to Ohio for a reason. So I flew into Detroit, then I drove down to Ohio, came back to Detroit. The next morning, I flew out from Milwaukee to LaGuardia and back. Every single one of those flights, I got a free upgrade. That is unheard of. That is unheard of, to get a free upgrade 4 out of 4 times. I mean, that's like hitting the upgrade jackpot. 2 of those 4 times, I was upgraded to first class. Now, if that's not enough, the upgrades were coming days ahead. Generally speaking, and I travel a lot, generally speaking, when you get a complimentary upgrade, it comes like when you're at the gate. Someone doesn't show up, they're waiting for the last minute to fill that seat, to sell that ticket. When it doesn't happen, I'm ready to board, and bing, oh, look at that. Mark got upgraded. Fantastic, hallelujah. This time, the upgrade, I knew I was first class the day before. And that just doesn't happen. So I got in that plane. Who was it? It was Delta, our friend Delta right here. I got in that plane. 3 first class seats were empty. All 4 of the flights I was on this week were at most 2/3 to 3/4 full. So I don't know if that is indicative of what's going on, or it was just the luck of the draw, what I got. But I don't think so, because I was flying into major hubs and major destinations with New York City with LaGuardia and DTW in Detroit. So, take what you will away from that. Now, I just thought that was quite interesting. All right, so let's see. I was watching a video, and he predicted CV would be in Louisiana. Don't miss a point, Mark. It's all up to Americans to keep ourselves safe. Well, Peter, no, you're right. I get it. What I'm saying, I was off on a tangent here. What I was saying is, all of these years, the past couple of years, people have been trying to have an impact on Uber and Lyft, and drivers really can't make an impact because we can never get united. And I wonder, hi Lanka, I wonder if this is an opportunity. It kind of is going to be that incentive for drivers to say, okay, this time I might get on board with it. That's all I'm saying. I'm not suggesting, I'm not missing the point that we have to keep ourselves safe. I get that completely. I'm just saying we can kind of kill 2 birds with 1 stone, because we can keep ourselves safe and maybe send that message. And maybe I said that a little harshly, but send that message to Uber and or Lyft that, hey, without drivers, you really don't have a business. Despite the fact that they try to call themselves what am I looking for here? A technology company. We all know what they are. They're a rideshare service. And how far will the technology go without drivers to use it? So that's all I was saying. I wasn't implying if you took it the wrong way, or if I conveyed my intent poorly, I do apologize. But there's a lot of, you can tell I have a lot of enthusiasm today because this stuff I just find so interesting. I'm really sorry that my last 3 or maybe 4 videos have had to be about the coronavirus, but that's all the rideshare news that's out there right now. And it is absolutely incredible. Another thing that has happened, the airlines, TSA just announced today, at least it first hit the news today, that you can now carry 12 ounces of hand sanitizer on a plane with you. Up until now, 3.2 ounces was all you could carry of any liquid. Now they're 12 ounces, that's like a can of soda. All right, drivers union would turn the flexible job most of it have into another soul-sucking job. Peter, I'm not here to argue the benefits or the detractions of having a union. All I'm talking about is I didn't know that a union was representing drivers, and I kind of don't think they are. Okay, so here's what else I have read today. Uber to suspend accounts of drivers and riders who have coronavirus. This is out of Cleveland. Uber is adding a new precaution to the coronavirus as the coronavirus continues to spread across the globe, including suspending accounts of drivers and riders who have the illness. How are they going to know? How are they going to know unless we get in the app and say, hey, Uber, by the way, I have coronavirus. Who's going to report themselves? Or is this going to turn into panic? Is this going to turn into like, back in the 50s, our illustrious senator from Wisconsin started that whole scare about, McCarthyism. Yeah, he was a Wisconsin boy. When everybody was pointing the finger at everybody else, turning in people for being communists. Is that what's going to happen now? Are riders and drivers going to start turning in and reporting their passengers or their driver and saying, hey, this person seems sick to me, I don't know. So I don't know how they're going to do this. So Dastardly Dara released a statement saying the safety and well-being of everyone who uses Uber is our top priority. And I don't know how it's going to do it. It says they're going to temporarily suspend the accounts of drivers and riders who have coronavirus. They're consulting with an epidemiologist and adding more disinfectants to their vehicles. I haven't been down to my hub, but you can't find the stuff in stores. Where's the hub getting it from? Customers can now ask Uber Eats delivery drivers to leave food at the door. Yeah. I don't know that I want to do that, though, because oftentimes when I deliver it in person, that's when I get the cash tip. Any driver or delivery person who's diagnosed with COVID-19 or is individually asked to self-isolate by a public health authority will receive financial assistance for up to 14 days while their account's on hold. That's pretty good, but they still haven't identified or told us what form does that financial assistance take. Is it a percentage of what we earned in the previous week? I don't know. These are all questions. That's why I hate poor reporting, because they don't give you all the facts. Uber is also protecting current Uber Pro status for all drivers for the remainder of this qualifying period. A lot of companies are doing similar things. I am, as many of you know, you can see the boss right there, Mickey Mouse. I'm an annual pass holder to Disney, and I just got a notification that Walt Disney World is closing. They've been closing the parks. And one of the things they're doing is they are going to add days or weeks or however long this takes to my pass, to my annual pass. So it'll last. I'm not down in Florida anyway, so hey, this is going to turn out good for me. But just interesting stuff going on now. So what else do we have here? Rick Reviews says, put on a mask. Peter says, someone gave me a cold 13 days ago, and I haven't driven since for fear of being deactivated. Well, see, that's another thing. Now what we're kind of afraid is just to take regular precautions because of this fear, this panic. It's not an epidemic, it's an epipanic. And now people are, it almost encourages in some cases, unsafe behavior. Now here's Peter. He's going to go out and drive anyways, even though he has a cold, because he does not want to get um, accused of having the virus. Uber closed their house. That's wonderful. That's wonderful. Uber says that they're going to protect the drivers and they are going to make, sanitation equipment available, and then they close the hub. You know, if I ever wanted to look up um, irony in the dictionary and I wanted a perfect example, that is a perfect example. We're making this stuff available to you, but we're closing our doors. You can't write this stuff. I think that the financial impact on businesses and individuals will far outweigh the physical impact on the virus. I agree with you, Ruben. You are dead on. We've already been seeing it in the stock market, which is terrible. Most of us have something in the stock market. They're closing down sporting events, which is a lot of money. There's a lot of people, we talk about a gig economy. There are a lot of people that are ushers and merchandise sales and things of that nature at these basketball games, at these baseball games. They're all going to lose their income. That's going to, I understand politicians, my feeling towards politicians. And they're all saying hurrah because one side wants the other side to look bad. And in the end, they are doing nothing good for America. So look at what your politician is doing. If you can see their posturing, think about voting for someone else next time. That's what I'm going to do. I think we may see a currency by the time this is all over. I'm not sure what that means. What will you do if they close the airport? Well, I guess I won't fly. They're still going to be selling gas, right? St. Patrick's Day's events are canceled in many cities. I know they're canceling that as well. Aaron go brah. I don't know, man. I don't know. But wow, look at this. We're into this for 22 minutes and I have not stopped talking. I don't know when the last time was you saw me this enthusiastic. And it's not that I'm excited about this virus at all. It is terrible. It's a tragedy. But I'm telling you, they're just giving you so much to work with here. Okay, I'm going to bring it down a notch. And I'm just going to give some feedback. I'm going to read what all of you are saying here. I think the market is going to bounce off the 17th. The market always bounces back. But here's the problem. The market has to not only bounce back to where it was, but a lot more in order for us to regain what we lost. And I always give this simple example. And I am not a market guy, but it's pretty much, easy to figure out. If I have $100 and the market drops 10%, my $100 now lost 10%, so I have 90. Now the market jumps up 10%. I don't go back up to 100 because 10% of 90 is 9. So I go up to 99. So the market drops 10, goes up 10. I have still lost 1%, right? That's simplification, but that's essentially what happens. The market has to bounce back stronger than it was just for me to get where I started. President said there will be help for people affected by the virus. Not that I trust him, but they will need to assist people. Well, they're already assisting people. They signed that spending bill of $8.3 billion. That's one of the things that made the market bounce back, right? I have not lost control. I have certainly not lost control. I'm full of fire today. Sorry. Where is your bailout? Good luck with that. That's why I'm saying I think that this is just a PR move on the part of the Teamsters. I don't think the Teamsters truly represent us. I don't think the Teamsters demands are realistic. They're not going to happen, but they have now positioned themselves to say, look what we did. Ain't we good people? That's what I think just happened. All right. And it doesn't say any more about how Uber and Lyft are going to suspend your accounts. All right, everybody. What do you think? What say ye? How many people do we have now? We're up to 37 people. Hey, this is almost like the good old days when we used to have these live streams and a lot of people would show up. I don't know. This whole thing, this whole panic is it's disturbing to me. I probably am among the highest risk group to get this virus. Now, if I get it, I'm probably not going to die from it, right? I have a healthy immune system. Even the weird thing about this virus, they're changing it all the time. They say it doesn't affect kids. And like even the flu, usually kids are really susceptible to a flu, and we see a lot of deaths in children. We're not seeing that in this virus. The other thing, when this first came out, and you can see even my videos a few days ago, they were saying we don't think it can be contracted. This is right from the Center for Disease Control website. We don't think it can be contracted by physical contact. That's not the main source of contamination. Well, if that's the case, why are they telling us to use the, 60% or higher alcohol hand wipes? Why are they telling us to wipe down every surface? Now they're saying that the thing can live for 72 hours, 48 hours, 3 days, whatever, on surfaces. So they're really backing off on everything they said. They're still saying masks don't help. Masks don't help for a lot of reasons because they're not HEPA filter masks. Those viruses can go through the paper fibers. The fibers are woven and there's little holes and go through there. And the way people wear them, it's ridiculous. I walk through the airport and I see people, these masks, there's big gaps up here, there's big gaps under there. Sometimes people just have them down by their neck. Like it's just virtue signaling. Hey, look at me. I'm looking out. I'm wearing a mask. But they're wearing it by their neck unless, they have a tracheotomy. It's not going to help them any. All right. It's not even a flu. It's barely a cold. I sound like an economist. I don't know what I'm talking about. Don't take financial advice from me. But that part of it is pretty common sense, right? This is a test run from those in power to see how the world will react in such a scenario. Kind of a fire drill, Max. I'll tell you, you sound like an alarmist, but I don't know. You might be right. One of the chemicals that causes children to grow exceptionally fast, I cannot remember what it's called, but anyway, apparently the virus does not like it. And as you age, it goes down in your body. So we have a virus that is an ageist. Is that what you're saying? Let's see. I'm sure if you report to Uber that you have the virus, they will suspend you, but they said you'll get 2 weeks pay. I imagine that will be the average your normal pay. All right, so is this going to encourage people to just say, hey, I can get paid for 2 weeks without driving. Come on, Uber, let me have some of that. Give me a little sugar, right? I just wonder if that's not, why not? Why not do it? I know why I wouldn't do it because I'm too honest. I'm too ethical. But I could see a lot of people saying, especially people that are pulling down $1,000 a week or whatever. Hey Uber, I just I'm not feeling good. I'm afraid that I have coronavirus. You even saying my doctor said I have to stay inside because I have coronavirus. And when can I expect my check? And they can just whatever, sit on the couch, eat bonbons, go to movies, go out drinking with their friends and wait for that check to come in. I don't know. I don't know how it works. It seems kind of crazy. Okay. Some of them are getting even more filthy rich through this. Well, I'll tell you what, I would love to be the person that had a warehouse full of hand sanitizer right now. I'm going to tape a HEPA vacuum bag to my face. Rick, I want you to do that and send us all a picture. It's terrifying how stupid people are becoming, how gullible and naive they are. I had a friend text me this morning, and he said that Jim Baker, remember Jim Baker, that evangelist? He said Jim Baker somewhere is selling colloidal silver as protection against this to people. I just sent him a picture of a guy they used to call Papa Smurf or whatever. He took so much colloidal silver, his skin turned blue. Look it up. No, Mark, it's aerosolized and they can live typically for days. We aren't taken seriously enough. We will be like Italy within days. Peter. Don't make people panic, please. They trust the media and their governments. It's so ignorant. Boy, we have people on both sides of the fence. I'm right down the middle. Take reasonable precautions. That's what I say. Because if If these filters, we know they don't work, right? We know they don't work. So why are people wearing? People think they get a false sense of security, and I think they put themselves at even more risk. So be reasonable. I never like taking either extreme. Either do nothing or lock yourself up in the house until September. I think they're both extremes. I received an email about cleaning supplies, but I have not heard any more about where to get them. By the way, all green light hubs are shut down anyway. That was my point. Eat bonbons, watch the Mark's travel time, and don't forget about Average Me. I've got a good average. Oh, you guys, I got to tell you about this. When I was in New York, there was this institution that built in 1911, and it housed people with physical and mental disabilities. Back then, they called them the feeble-minded. And in 1972, Geraldo Rivera, remember that guy? He did a report, and I remember seeing parts of this where it was like an invasion, where they just rushed the doors with their cameras and they found terrible things. This wasn't the primary facility, but the one I went to has been abandoned since 1996. So almost 25 years now. And I went urban exploring in this place. Oh man, was it spooky. I swear, there's got to be ghosts in this place. But anyhow, that's going to be on the Average Me channel in coming up in the next few days. This will continue for months, absolutely. The virus isn't going to die in 2 weeks. I don't know why they're doing things like saying we're going to start, activities again in a couple weeks. Best thing to stay home. People got to work. People got to live, Colloidal silver has too low of a pH. I think it's 4.5, which makes it toxic. You can take it about 5 days, but beyond that, it's poison. I don't know. I don't know about colloidal silver. I know it turned this guy's skin blue. All right. What are we getting paid per week if you get the virus? Don't know, Joe. Checks in the mail? Yeah. Good luck with that, Ken. There was a product called C60 made by Live Longer Labs. It's an amazing boost to the immune system. Yeah, well, the boost to the immune system is getting yourself exposed to things once in a while and let your immune system build up. Why are there so many kids that have peanut allergies? Well, as a kid, nobody had a peanut allergy, back in the 20s. How come so many kids have peanut allergies? I don't have the answer, but I suspect that we're trying to keep things a little too clean, if that's such a thing. I don't know. Why do we no longer have an immune system that fights off these diseases? Half the viruses get caught by chemicals going into the eyes. I agree. They talk a lot about we get on our hands, then we rub our eye. I was reading something that said the average person touches their face like 23 times every hour. I've done it several times in this video already. I got an itchy nose today, so I'm going up and doing that, right? That was just a demo, by the way. But you saw me do that earlier because my nose is kind of itchy today. I don't know why my nose is itching today, but it is. But you put your feet, I wipe your eyes, Or in my case, I'm constantly, pushing my hair out of my eyes. So we're always touching our face. And it does. It enters through our nostrils, through our eyes, through our mouth. Disney, talking about Disney closing. A couple of things at Disney. I'm still probably going to do a video on the germiest places in Disney. When you walk into Winnie the Pooh, when you're in the queue for that Winnie the Pooh ride, there's this big wall. And it's like an electronic touch screen. And it's honey dripping down. And you can sweep the honey out of the way. And you can see characters behind it. Every kid that's been eating and picking and going to the bathroom and not washing their hands and have their finger and nose and everything is touching this. And then the next person comes up and touches it. And it's not just kids, it's adults. And the same thing at Haunted Mansion. They have these things where you touch and it plays musical instruments. Everybody in the world is touching it. How about Mickey Mouse? Greeting everybody, touching everybody with their hands. Everyone's hugging him. Everyone's kissing him. That is probably, if you want to get coronavirus, go to Disney World. I take that back. Disney, don't sue me. I'm just making an observation that there are a lot of opportunities, I think, if you're talking about touch points. Those are touch points, right? All right. Do you think that was a good enough? I take it back. You will not get coronavirus by going to Walt Disney World or any Disney property. Well, you might. I'm not a health professional. I just want to keep my house. Oh, half-time viruses get caught. Okay, I said that already. Stay home for 2 weeks. Suck it up. Don't expect compensation. Um, well, that's what they say, James, that a lot of viruses, when it gets to be drier weather, that they kind of die off. So we'll see what happens. Not spreading Mexico, though. I think that's because of the weather. I don't know. I don't know. I'm not a professional, right? Kios said, Jeremy, why do you need TP for an upper respiratory virus? That's what I was saying. I was asking that earlier, Ken. The only thing I can think of is people are thinking I'm going to be holed up for a couple weeks. If there's one thing I know I'm going to need, toilet paper. Okay. Uber X surging in my community at Glendale, 53210. You're in Glendale. Well, you're really close to me then. Good Lord. How long you been watching my channel? You know I'm in Milwaukee, right? All right, very cool. If you still want to drive, demand is already going into the toilet. Possible air travel being shut down and major events are closing up. Air travel, it's not going to shut down, but um, they are closing some routes. And it's funny because the airlines say they're still going to make their goals because planes that are grounded don't use fuel. And that's when they're bigger expenses. And they don't have to pay flight crews and they don't have to pay pilots. It's an interesting thing, though. There are things called ghost flights. Have you ever heard of ghost flights? They are so interesting. In order to maintain routes and in order to be able to fly into some airports, airlines, they're contracted. They have to make so many flights and specific flights. So oftentimes you'll see airlines making flights, even sometimes with near empty planes. Simply, right? Why don't they just cancel that? It's obviously they're not making money because they have to fly those ghost flights in order to maintain the contract and make sure that they have access to their gates and all of that. So it's going to be difficult for airlines to shut down completely. Let's see. What else? Overstock has toilet paper. Myers had wet wipes and wipes. I don't know if they were 60% alcohol, though. That's a lot of it. People are buying the wrong stuff. You still have to buy stuff that is going to work for this. Are we sick of hearing about this virus yet? Like I said, I'm sorry that my channel, that's all we talk about, but that's all the news there is out there. Toilet paper won't go bad. You can use it whenever you want. Well, that's true. Back in the old days, does anyone ever wonder, other than George Costanza, what they did before the invention of toilet paper? And they really didn't use a lot of paper because paper was usually rag stock and it was hard to come by. They didn't have paper manufacturing like they did now, but you can look it up in the history books. They would, this is good. Is this what it's come to? They would soak the old corn cobs in water so they have softened corn cobs. And they were biodegradable. So there you go. And when they were done, I hope they didn't use it for the corn cob pipe. All right. So we've been at this for almost 40 minutes. It doesn't feel like it. I'll tell you, it feels like I just sat down. But I think I am going to draw this one to a close. I know what happens. People see a video and they see it's an hour and 20 minutes and they don't click on it and they don't watch it. So I want to thank all of you for being here. You realize I missed Rideshare Friday this week, right? Because my travel was absolutely nuts. But so this is Saturday edition of Rideshare Friday. And I want to thank you all for joining me as always. I encourage you to like and share the videos. If you haven't already, please subscribe by clicking my face in the corner and ring the bell icon so you know when I post new videos. Leave your comments down below. If I am wrong, unlike other Uber-tubers out there who won't let you comment if you disagree with what they say, I welcome corrections. I welcome respectful debate. I think that's really what this forum is all about. So thanks for joining me, everyone. I'm Mark, and this is Mark's Travel Time.